thank you everyone for coming here. Okay, like for enrolling for this particular meetup because जो meetup करने वाले हैं, this is not only about technical stuff and only about non-technical because there are two things, right? Technical and non-technical because we come from an engineering background. So हमारे पास दो चीजें हैं and my channel is all about robotics and all those things. But still, this meetup is for exploring. Like we can get connected, we can discuss out some things which are beyond the job, beyond the technical, all those things, right? So that we can learn from it because we all like basically we do of know we are doing a job and how the job life is and all those things, right? We do not find time for ourselves. So it is important to figure out ourselves. Okay, to know what is the real person inside us. So that's what the main motive of this particular meetup is. And in future, there might be some more meetups happening. You can also join. Some other persons, people are also can join. It is completely free for now. In the future, I don't know. It might be free as well. I will mostly try to keep it free because this is just for sake of passion. So that's what I think. So thank you everyone for joining here. And so let's start the meet by introducing each one of you.
So hi, I am Narayan Shastri. I am basically from Nagpur. Since last year, I am currently living in Pune. I worked for around 1.2 years in an IT company, HCL Tech, and there I have also worked on some kind of robotics support things. Yeah, that's basically it.
Yeah, myself Ferdinand, and basically I'm from Kerala, currently working in Pune in a startup company as an embedded engineer plus robotics field. And I have completed my degree in IT. That's it.
Myself Deep Sonia, currently I am pursuing automation and robotics from Pune Meetup engineering and is trying to explore more about raw stuff in robotics.
So myself, I'm Khandare. We both in same class. I am also pursuing engineering in automation and robotics. Basically, I am started exploring laws and all that stuff. But I have so much passion about robotics and embedded side of things. I have also worked on drone and some bots like OmniDrive and all that.
Okay, that is good. Right. So we all are from robotics background, essentially, right? So okay, starting with the flexibility part. Okay, you can ask or else put topic by yourself. Each one of you have one or two topics. Depends on the time constraint. But still, each one of you can put one topic, and we will discuss around it. Okay. And if you don't click any topic, I will suggest you a topic. Okay. That's the only thing. So who is going to start with today's topic?
Yeah, I understand. As I told you, I am working there underwater robotics field also. So we build robot for dam inspection, shipyard inspection, underwater research, etc. So there are a lot of things that want to be improved in this kind of field using robots. With the help of robots, only it can be possible. So one problem statement I will tell is that actually in kind of downward inspection, we use this flight controllers, Raspberry Pi for taking data. So actually we control it manually. So if we can automate it using those, it can be a good thing in this kind of field. And I think no one have done this kind of automation in this kind of field. Actually, we get a 7 lakh rupees DVL, actually Doppler velocity logger. Actually, it can also help us to automate the robots in underwater.
Okay.
So it uses velocity. I don't know actually more about it, but using that also it can we can automate the underwater robot to a certain extent. But actually our problem is I will tell an example. So this is the wall. So our robot is used for downward inspection. Our robot will come vertically and horizontally to inspect. actually. And it is controlled manually. Like we will have a joystick on top, so we will see the video and control it. So we can generate rows, YAML. It will be better that we don't want to put any effort controlling it manually, and we will get more precision if we automate it. So while doing manually, sometimes for better clarity, we will go according to the darkness of water. We will go near the wall and come far from the wall. So if we go near the wall, the field of view will be less, and if we come far, the field of view will be more. So if using rows, if you automate it in kind of way that the field of view will be same, and in dams the rocks will be wall will be not uniform. Sometimes in the top it will be kind of straight, and there will be a bend, there will be some holes. So setting a perfect distance from the wall, if you automate it, it will be a great revolution in this underwater kind of thing.
So using like autonomous navigation.
Yeah,
is important.
here it's here we want autonomous navigation plus, as I told you, this kind of stuff. So it will be
It can work manually only.
yeah, now it can work only manually because in water the communication is very problem. So we want a tethered communication. So from robot we will get the data on top, and seeing the video we will operate.
So after implementing laws also, we can control it manually.
Ah, yeah.
Not those
Yeah,
autonomous navigation.
Yeah.
and all that.
Actually, we want to control it manually plus automated it. Suppose if there is kind of so many roads under road, road types or kind of things, automation it will be very difficult. So it will be always better to control it manually.
Right. And also for the underwater robotics, especially if you are working out there. So what is the scope for students who are interested?
Actually, in India, there are only two main companies that are exploring this kind of field. It's one in Kerala and one in Chennai. And there are small startups to this field, but most of them are not exploring this kind of field. That's the problem. So most of them don't know about this kind of underwater robot. So if we get a good knowledge on this field, it would be very
Basically, startup nowadays, what are doing? They are particularly focused on one thing and doing repeatedly that thing.
yeah, because
Not improving it.
yeah, I'm working in startup, so in startup, money is also a great concern. So if we get good funding only, we can start researching on other projects, build, and building these kinds of things after research, it will take a lot of money. So if one thing fails, we want to buy another component. Suppose 4 pixel, it costs around 10,000, 11,000. So if it fails, we want to put the money again for that development. So that's why this kind of startups are
Even orange cube cost 20 to 25k.
Exactly. Right.
yeah.
And the main problem is like those components are not manufactured in India.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah,
That's the main problem.
yeah,
It's from outside.
and I have told you earlier that we are building our own flight controller.
Yeah.
Actually, we want to make that indigenous. That's why we have made this kind of flight controller. The development and the testing is going on now. So if our company can, what will say, build this thing, it will be completely indigenous. And this military guys don't use foreign flight controllers. And recently, some flight controllers, some components have been banned from China. So
Okay.
yeah, so in military, it's all a major issue. So for that we are building this kind of flight controller.
Okay. And also, where are you selling these ROVs? Like out of India? Because if we sell these in India, like who is going to do it? Because we are
Yeah.
not able to afford it. I guess.
Yeah.
The main customer is like military and
Yeah. Actually, the main buyer, there are no actual buyers. We provide services. Actually, if anyone, for example, if a dam authority buy this one, they want to maintain. And there should be a technical guy always to get to operate this kind of thing. So they prefer services. So recently we have done inspection in Basgaon, Panchit, Karpasla. So they are always behind services. And later this data should be collected and processed. So there will be no one in the government sector who knows this thing technically and do this stuff right now. So we used to collect this data, analyze and give reports.
Right.
So, and there are some like big companies. For example, the company who builds bridges. So they can hire a technical guy for this kind of thing. So there will be a kind of customers. So major thing is services.
Okay. Got it. Because there is no scope for like selling the products.
Yeah, yeah,
Because we are not manufacturing the components.
yeah.
And the market is not ready to accept the
Yeah.
robots because still students are searching for the jobs.
Yeah.
And the main problem is regarding like colleges are starting the robotics branches, but still the job market is not that much ready for robotics.
Yeah.
Industrial robotics is under part using the PLCs, SCADA, all those things. And getting to the robotics kind of stuff, like we want to build the robots by our hands. If that is the case, then there are very less companies. Very less companies.
So I have one question on that only. So you know Ross more than me on that. Okay. So how do we improve that project then using Ross?
Using ROS, right? So, particularly I have not worked on underwater.
Okay.
So, if I compare this project with the autonomous mobile robots, then I guess nav to stack is the way. But as you said, the communication lags for the underwater.
Yes.
Yeah. So, you have to just change the communication protocol and just integrate it with the navigation stack. So, it might help out there. But again, because you will need 3D lidars as well there. Because in mobile robots we use 2D lidar. So I don't know like what kind of sensors will be required there and how the map will be formed.
Yeah.
Okay. So that's the case.
The map is the issue.
Map is the
The
water visibility is also
Might be solar
Yeah, sonar we will get the approximate distance.
distance, yeah.
So
So
my say is if you put a kind of sonar in front of the ROV and this sonar will give us data. So
yeah.
suppose ROV is 5 meter from the wall, set it to 5 meter.
Right.
So regarding the surface, it will move 5 meter. If the wall is somewhat out, it should take some turn and go. It should come behind and maintain the 5 meter between the.
So now you are using camera only.
Yeah, now we are using camera.
Like camera or it's
Actually, it's underwater camera, like it's an important one. Just connected to Raspberry Pi. From the we will just do another connection to down.
right. This was about underwater robotics. Like,
And
this
yeah,
is
one thing I want to tell you is regarding the cost. Actually, underwater stuffs are more costlier. So one good thruster, which will have 7 kilo of thrust, will cost around 15 to 20,000 rupees. So in an 8 thruster configuration ROV, it will come around 1,51,000, around 2 lakh. So cost is also very high in underwater kind of things. So a good standard ROV will cost around 7 to 8 lakhs of rupees. We can also reduce the cost by, so we want to reduce the components, like want to buy cheaper components, like you will get 7 kilo thruster and 2 kilo of thruster. So
Okay.
we want to compensate like kind of things.
Right. So I got underwater robotics, and basically I was not aware very much about underwater robotics. We got to know more deeply about it, what you will implement or something. Yes, so right. My topic is related to the skill development part. Okay. I am touching both technical and non-technical. Right. So for skill development, there are, let's divide it into two parts. Okay. So first of all, for the students, because they are currently learning phase, right? We are also in the learning phase plus earning phase, right? So both the phases are right. Okay. So for the students, skill development begins from the first year itself, right? Because you guys are in your second year, right? Third year. So for the third year, first year, second year, third year, fourth, there are 4 stages of engineering. And for the first year, I will recommend for the skill development part, try to explore as much as possible. Okay. Not only in terms of traveling and doing the fun things. Okay. That is a completely different part that you should do, but you should manage as per your time. That is the thing, right? So if someone is watching this video, so this might be helpful for the skill development part. So especially touching the skill development part for the technical, not only robotics, but of course any other technical things that you guys are trying out, and the other non-technical things. Okay, then again we are branching these two terms. So for the technical, first of all, don't fix in your first year itself that you want to do a particular thing, right? Because let's say if I decide I want to do robotics in software domain, so by fixing this, I am not going to explore the other things like design and electronics. So it might happen in my fourth year, like okay, I must have tried electronics. Now I am not like able to code properly and all those things. So there should not be any regret that I didn't try. Later you can say that okay, I tried, but I was not able to get a particular thing. So that is one part. So first of all, try out 50 things, 100 things as much as that is possible as per your convenience. So after trying that, then select 5 things out of them. So let's take robotics. So you have tried out coding, design, and electronics, and you are now more interested into design and coding. Let's say. Okay. So now you can try to. So this was your for first year plan. Okay. So try out 100 things. You should get the complete year, because just trying for one day is not enough. You have to try for 1 month. Okay. So that is the case. So that was one thing for the technical, and for the non-technical as well. In your first year, you can just try out in your college clubs. Just reach out to your college clubs if there are any activities, group activities where you can participate and try to improve your communication skills. If you are not person like me who don't want to join the college clubs, you can try to improve your soft skills by your own. So that is also possible. You can do that. There is no need of college clubs, that there is no restriction, because sometimes college clubs are also like for the benefit of the college, not the benefit of your. Okay, so that is also one case. So you have to figure out your own way where you fit and try to improve your non-technical skills, especially soft skills. And in your second year, you will get those 2 skills or 3 skills. Let's say coding and design. So try to work more on that. Try to build projects around it that might be for coding, let's say Python, C++, all those things, and then move to the robotics side. Try to build Arduino projects, use ESP32 microcontroller, use Bluetooth modules, sensor modules, ultrasonic IR sensor, temperature sensors, touch sensors. So try to use different types of sensors, basic sensors, and try to build a robot car, then a robotic arm, then a drone. So improve step by step. That is the best way to do the things, because in like my second year project was ultrasonic distance measurement. So that was really very basic. Okay. Because yeah.
Project is that only first project.
Okay, your first project was
Yes.
so
I don't know.
Object hours.
Similar kind of. It was a ultrasonic sensor based obstacle avoidance.
okay.
Line
Mine also
follower.
same. Mine is integrated with 2 things: line follower and obstacle avoidance.
Like your project.
Yeah, my project is kind of using IR sensor.
Mm.
Like actually I don't that remember, but I have used a sensor for this kind of project. So in my college days, first year, second year, I used to bunk classes just to submit the project for the sake of teachers. And later in the third year, I started working in underwater field. Then I told you that in third year we had an internship, so I have joined in the right place. So after I have reached. So
Right place at right time.
yeah, right place at right time.
That is important.
Yeah.
I just wanted to know that some kind of structured education in this particular thing. For example, I have graduated in mechanical engineering, so it is a totally core part and very less exposure to these kind of things. And as you are already graduated in robotics and you are currently pursuing, so have you noticed some kind of difference between the people who are studying mechanical and you?
Basically,
Is there any kind of
I'm really being frank with you. We guys are foundation branch of college.
Okay.
So for until fifth sem, we have syllabus of mechanical only.
Total syllabus of
Total mechanical for kinematics, inward kinematics, fluid mechanics, all that stuff mechanical.
That is
Then this fifth sem, and after fifth sem, now we are introducing about electronics. We are not even going to ROS in syllabus. There is no ROS in our syllabus. Okay, so we are now in sixth sem, and sixth sem one subject is there SVSR, sensors visions. Okay, so in that last unit is about ROS, and that is introduction to ROS basically, nothing there. And we not even know about LiDAR. We know about LiDAR, but in syllabus who are working like we are working on 9-pointer, टोटलिंग रट्टा वट्टा सब मार रहे हैं, बस ये देख रहे हैं कि सिलेबस देखो, जो वो कर रहे हैं उनको मालूम नहीं है सब। पूरे क्लास में हम दो ही है जिनको रॉस मालूम है, जो रॉस पे प्रोजेक्ट कर रहे हैं, इसलिए दीप मुझे हेल्प किया। So basically I think that mechanics is the foundation of robotics.
Designing something for
designing something and all that kinematics part, because he knows ROS, he knows electronics, and which stand on which thing. No, base is mechanics. If the robotic arm is not working properly, its kinematic is not going properly in that stuff, why do we even care about ROS and electronics?
If you don't know the foundation of robotics, then it is not going to help with ROS as well. Because I have seen many guys like who are experienced in the robotics field. Most of the guys are from the mechanical branch.
Exactly.
Yeah, that is the real thing.
They do master and then they get properly into this field.
yeah. I told you that I have done an internship in Kerala, so that's how actually I have completed mechanical. Then after he mastered in robotics from SR.
Okay.
So actually he was a handsome guy like in this field. So he could yeah. Like after this I can show you his kind of stuff. Yeah, profile. He could.
That is really interesting because my branch of automation and robotics, 50% to 60% syllabus is of mechanical, because you guys have one subject related to sensors.
Yes.
They just added sensors in robots, artificial intelligence in robots. So just dash in robots. That is the only case between mechanical
Mechanics
engineering
and robotics.
Actually, I was like, our course was totally. I have studied in an old fashion. And after that, after my graduation, they have changed the syllabus.
Okay.
That's why I'm many times I was thinking like, what was my point?
Actually, it's not about the course, it's about what competitions you join. Like I was in Robo1, so I got total exposure towards robotics. Rather than because of the course and the syllabus, yeah, getting a knowledge from practical projects.
So we were at the second year part for the skill development. So for the second year, we can build the robotic arm, then the mobile robots, field robots. So try to build a variety of projects for robotics. That is important to get exposure.
Exposure.
There is like no such thing that you will work on all three domains. Like you're working for mobile robots, then robotic arms, then floors. Because at the end, you will do a job, or else you will be in the research side, or else you will do a business. So that is the thing. These are completely three different domains. So in the second year, try to fix that part as well, whether you want to do a job or else whether you want to pursue masters or not. Because all these decisions are going to affect you financially. Because that part is also important. Some students are financially stable, some are not. That will depend on the student itself, right?
And my say is after bachelor's, do work, and by doing you will get to know what is your interest. Actually, in my case, it happened. So after that, whether you decide you want to go for masters or do something else or build a startup or etc.
Right.
So
That is the thing.
yeah.
And also, there is one thing: if someone want to like do part-time work in their engineering, they can also do that, like doing freelancing activities, video editing, designing. Because I was into the freelancing part more. In my third year, I was not focusing on the technical side much more. I was just exploring, and I found the coding part much more interesting rather than the electronics and designing. I also did the 3D designing part because I was into the graphic designing, video editing part, and earning something from it. So that was my case. But it depends on student to students. So as per your situation, try to take a decision which will be optimal.
And after second year, if you are going to study robotics, try to do internship even in a small company. So you will get to know something, and you will get a good exposure at the end of classes. And later it will help you to get in a good company.
Yes.
So, and in the meantime, you will get to know what's your measurements.
The problem is that it is easy to say that take an internship in robotics, but there are no internship programs.
Because I have tried during my work.
We are in third year, we are trying from last
I
sem.
have applied at least 3 to 4 companies for internships, but the response only comes after 2 to 3 months.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly. That is the real case.
Yes.
And for me, like I didn't do any internship in my complete 4 years.
Okay.
I didn't get it because I failed at it. I applied for 100 applications, almost 100 applications. I counted on that. There must be more than 100 IS. I was trying from my second year itself to intern by emailing the founders, just clicking the LinkedIn button to apply, going on the company website, searching for the email addresses and all those things. But I was never selected. I also like one of the startup. They said that you should record your video. I will not name it. Then you should send it. So I tried for that as well, but I never got selected for that. Maybe my profile was more onto the non-technical side at that time, because I was into freelancing. But when I applied, I did some projects. It is not the case. But still, to get an internship, it is like getting a lottery. For robotics side, I will say. I will not say that you are not going to get it, because some guys who are very good in the technical side or very much dedicated, they might get it. But someone who is like just trying out and also he has good knowledge in robotics, there might be case he will fail, because it is also the probability, right? Because 100 people are applying for the job and they are going to only hire 2 people, then that is not the fault of the student, right? So try to make your mindset you will get an internship or maybe you will not. So in that case, you should have a good project.
And in robotics field, most of the companies in robotics they will start to develop a project. Suppose develop a product. So they prefer employees more than internship, because this development will be off 1 year. After 1 year only the final product will come. So doing this kind of internship, for example, it will be off to 1 internship, 3 month internship. So at the halfway, if the student or the one who is coming to do internship go, it's always difficult for the company to replace someone to that same post with the same knowledge. So most of the company prefers employees who work for 2 years till the project ends. So it's also
6 महीने की इंटर्नशिप रही उसको समझाने में 6 महीने
हाँ.
नया बंदा आया उसको समझाने में
yeah.
And so their internships are also on site. In
Yeah,
robotics, they are not-
robotics we should also come in.
yes. So we cannot go during a bachelor also to some other
Yeah.
city and do internship. So in Pune also there are very less companies who are providing internships there on regular basis.
That is
So it even gets more difficult to get an internship because of that.
And the interesting part is I also used to handle our company's social media account. So recently we have hired 5 of them. So I only put the job description in LinkedIn. So 5 like so within 1 hour in our small company 52 applications came. So I was also quite surprised. Competition is so high. So lack of opportunities are also.
right. Exactly. So coming to the competition part, like switching to the third year itself, the next part is networking. So as you mentioned, if we want to break the competition, then skilling up is the best part. But with that, networking does the 50% growth part. Because you, for example, if you are applying for this company, now he knows you guys.
Yeah.
So,
I can get you in much easily.
so of course you will think on that now.
Yeah.
These guys are from the robotics background.
Yes.
Maybe you are not the best, but he knows you. So
Yes.
automatically you are fitted into his mind.
Yeah.
So he will recommend you. So that's how
his company is not hiring intern. They are only hiring employees.
you may be the next employee.
If you are ready to come and work there, it will be much easier for me to ask to get an opportunity there. Yeah.
It would be great. That happens, then that is good. But
Yeah.
that was just an example.
Yes.
As I told you earlier about the difficulty during half the project, if a student went, it will be always difficult for the rest of the school. So companies always look there. They are also play safe.
Yes.
Like,
They don't want to risk someone.
Well, the startup money issue.
Yeah, starter and don't expect stipend for internship in our company.
That would have been the best output of the today's meetup.
Yeah.
If you have that, you got an internship or what.
right. So to get an internship, you have to decide whether you want to do an unpaid
Yeah.
internship or paid internship. In my case, I was not ready to do an unpaid internship. I never wanted it because I don't know, because I was getting some money from freelancing. So maybe that was my attitude or not. But still, my mindset was I'm working for 8 hours. I should get some.
Also, if you get added after doing 1 hour of class, so how can we do it for unpaid internships?
There are so
Important
little people that they have actually knowledge of loss and they know that loss, what loss is. And actually, what I have seen is I have worked in an IT company. So what robotics was for me, it was totally different. Because basically, if we try to divide the company in areas where robotics is currently in India, so we can divide it into some kind of industrial robotics, then some kind of ROS or some kind of startup or these kind of projects that are going to means aiming to solve some kind of certain projects, and then there are totally different people that are hobbies. So actually, what ROS is doing in robotics. So we need to first aim ourselves clearly that I want to do this part or this part.
That makes sense actually.
Because I have seen in our company where we were providing technical support to our US based plant. There were robots, and those robots were running on some kind of very old version of Windows, and they were having their proprietary softwares running that were controlling all the robots' actions. Basically, the hardware was going to be the same that currently the new companies are working on, but the software and that firmware, what was controlling it, it was totally different.
And about in company, the general talk I'm saying is company also require a skilled person, but more than skilled person, they also want someone who are ready to work. So if a guy mentality is that kind of thing, they will hire.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They want
Sometimes
someone
that
who
is-
will try the thing, not someone who tell, I don't know. I have skill, but I won't try this thing.
Right.
Yeah. So
Actually,
if you are
that
ready
is
to,
the main part.
yeah,
Yes. If you have a willpower,
yeah.
सबको मतलब
More
काम
than
करने वाला
their
होता है।
skills,
हाँ.
knowledge, they will focus on these things.
Getting into the interviews is now very
Yeah,
difficult.
very
Exactly.
So if somebody has no knowledge of this, what are the current trends of going in ROS? So ROS are the robotics community. So basically, this I wanted to ask that as I have worked on ROS and during my college time, so it was ROS 1,
Right.
and currently the version is going ROS 2, and ISO 2 is also advancing. So what should somebody start with? Like ROS 2 is also having some kind of different flavors.
Right.
Hogsville and then
Yes.
Jaztic.
Now the
Yeah.
new one is jazz.
Jazz.
Right. So getting to that point, but first we will close the third year, fourth year part. That is just a little one. So we touched the networking part,
Yes.
then building the resume part. So try to focus on the non-technical skills in your third year as well, because when if you are selected for the interview, you should be able to crack it. So for that, you should be able to speak, or else you have to present yourself, not with the attire, not with the dress, but you should express your skills at that particular time. You should be able to sell yourself. That is the thing. So you should know where to speak what, where not to speak. So that is the thing, because the interviewer is going to check you from all sides. That is from technical, and as he said, the employee should be also able to work.
yes.
So सब काम करने वाला बनना चाहिए. So उसको हमको बताना पड़ेगा कि ठीक है मैं काम कर सकता हूँ, मुझे ये नहीं आता पर मैं सीख करके कर सकता हूँ.
Yeah.
And that your resume should also justify that. Again, that is also important.
Want to do projects one after the
Skill पे दिख रहा है फुटबॉल खेलता है और रोबोट बनाना है. So that is not going to happen. That should be supporting, but you should be able to justify that. So in your third year, you can also focus on your communication skills. Not speaking in English, but you should be able to convey your message properly.
Yes.
Simple. That's it. That is communication skill. And jumping on to the fourth year, till third year, you should be able to know where you are going, like new job, masters, anything that you want. It's completely up to the student, like or else business, anything. So at that time, you are both technical and non-technical. Should be somewhat good. I'm not saying an expert, because I am also not an expert. I'm an intermediate, or let's say beginner itself. So you should be able to like skill up yourself every time, every day. And the fourth year or else the third year, the complete journey, first to fourth year, I will say showcase that on some platform.
So we can
GitHub, resume, LinkedIn. GitHub is for your projects, but whatever you are learning, let's say you are doing a Python course, just put on LinkedIn. Like I studied this, I studied that. By posting itself, you will be able to crack how to write a post.
Yes.
What is SEO? What is all those things? Now, I know about SEO, all those things, because I mentioned previously I was into freelancing. So I studied completely digital marketing. So that was my other things. But still, you should be able to know how to showcase things.
And posting on LinkedIn also helps in networking.
Exactly.
Some of them reach out to us
Right.
so that you can do this, you can
Exactly.
improve that.
That is
Our
the
experience
Right.
by
So,
posting.
instead of going to the company and telling them I want to do a job, they will come to you and they will say you can join our company.
And while applying job, now most of the companies also ask our LinkedIn link.
Yes.
Yeah.
That is
So-
All the
So
projects.
if I am hiring someone, if I see their works, I will give them more preference. So we also should update our LinkedIn every time.
Exactly.
They want to know.
Yeah.
Some projects are written in
Yeah.
resume and its video is also updated on LinkedIn.
Yeah.
They think, yeah,
Yeah.
this guy do this.
This guy was.
And a startup wants a person who can do the technical and who is also somewhat good in non-technical as well, so that they can fit in their team.
The fun part is in our company, now there are only 3 engineers. As there is 3 engineers. Actually, we used to clean wash bathroom. We used to clean our company. We do the labor. So you want to go in that mind to start a company. You are ready to do everything. So if after you are leaving this company and joining a new company, you will have that mentality to do whatever. You don't feel shame of doing this kind of things. You are ready to do anything. So
You have to start from ground.
yeah.
And in 5, 6, 7 years, with all this, you definitely land in big MNC company.
Yeah.
So this was for complete 4 years. So you build, you show, and then apply.
And after 4th year, joining a small company, work for small money, don't expect huge. So
Yes.
you will also learn to live, how to manage money. Out of 10,000, I want to give 7,000 for rent. Within rest 3,000, you want to live. So you will learn that kind of things too.
Yes.
So that is also. So if someone wants like to discuss about the finance part as well, or is the soft skills part as well, we can touch that part deeply as well. That is not a big problem. But I don't know in this meetup or not, because we want to touch the robotics part as well. How to get into robotics like in much more detailed manner. So let's touch that part now. Okay. So coming on to the robotics part and the ROS part as well. Let's, because robotics is not ROS and ROS is not robotics. So that is
Robotics is like mechanical, electronics.
Exactly. So going into robotics side, first of all, is really like messy thing, because we have to try out all the things.
Yes.
Okay, so the simple terms are coding, design, and electronics. So first of all, exploring these skill domains and then deciding what suits. That is one thing. And from what we have observed, or is from what I have observed as well, is that there are like currently in market, I have seen the software roles are more than the other roles in robotics, especially. He may also notice that.
It's true.
So that is true. That might be the embedded engineer, the robotics developer, ROS developer, software engineering robotics, robotics deployment engineer. So those are more as compared to the other domains. I don't know much more about the electronics part. That might be the embedded one. I've never seen like very rarely a PCB designer or someone like that. But then other job roles are related to design, but those are also very limited. Everyone wants the developer or else the software engineer. I don't know, but someone who want to, let's now go into the software side. So we will compare the robotic software, but at the end we are not going to code the like IT side, right? So we also have to know the electronics, the hardware stuff. Because we are going to program the hardware. Yes. So if someone is going to the software side, let's say, because it is in demand for now. So you should be able to know how to deal with the electronics, basic hardware, at least Arduino. So from that we are going to figure out the other microcontrollers, other microprocessors, Raspberry Pi, or Jetson, and like Intel NUC as well. So any microprocessor that is just a CPU, right? So figuring that is also important, and having language commands, coding language commands. So best is C++ actually, because Python is good, but for prototyping, but for actual implementation, product development, C++ is the only one, right? But again, speaking and coming back to that, some companies are there who prefer Python, but those are rare.
And if they are preferring Python, they want the employee should know in Python SQL, Python developer, and all that stuff. It's if these companies offer Python, no, then their demand is like तेको सब आना चाहिए Python आ रहा है तो Python में SQL आना चाहिए, Python में सब developer आना चाहिए, हाँ सब if they are hiring Python.
Right. So ये point भी सही है. So for example, you know the coding language, then exploring around it is important. like building the vision projects,
Yes.
the just going to the data science side, what is really happening out there, how to handle the data. That is also important, just to explore, just to give exposure to ourselves. That is also important. क्योंकि मैंने भी कुछ बड़ा डेटा साइंस भी किया नहीं है, पर मुझे पता है कि यूपाइथन नोटबुक कैसे यूज करते हैं, टैब्लू कैसे यूज करते हैं, और वे कैसे यूज करते हैं. So your mindset should be ready to switch to any side. Okay, so that is one thing. And when the programming languages are done, try to build projects around it. Just don't jump to the outside. A simple Arduino project. The ultrasonic sensor is also good. But jokes apart, studying the motion of the robot, the kinematics dynamics, that is also important, and building robotic arms around it. And then going to the design part. Why design? Because you should know how the links joints work.
Yes, and for that the basic foundation is mathematics.
Yes.
Mathematics is so important for forward and inverse kinematics. So not a mathematics guy. If you are not a mathematician guy, you cannot be a designer or mechanical engineer.
Right.
It is a base for mathematics. And for, I think we divide robotics in 3 domains, like mechanical, electronics and computer. So for computer, if you are learning any coding language, I think rather than switching on ROS, first go for image processing. If you are learning C++, do image processing in C++. In Python, do Python. And for electronics, and as you say, Arduino and ultrasonic, वहाँ से basic शुरुआत, और mechanic में mathematics और SolidWorks.
Exactly.
That's the basic. वहाँ से शुरू करना पड़ता सब फिर. Then all 3 branches come together and go through robotics and implement ROS.
Right.
And
That is
the robot is ready.
So that's why robotics engineers need more time as compared to the other fields, because of the exploring, gaining some experience, and then deciding what to do now. So coming back to software sides, if you want to do the coding part, then languages, building projects around it, and then doing the networking part, like how networks work. Let's say the communication protocols, especially the SSH, let's say serial communication. So that will definitely help you, because at the end ROS is also working under some communication.
Yes.
There is a communication layer behind ROS. So to understand that is also important. So communication, networking, because we are going to control the robot, let's say sitting in India and the other part of the world. So networking is going to help you at that time. So that is one thing, and then you can jump to the ROS. Like you know about design, you can take that robot which is designed in, let's say, Fusion to simulator in ROS, Gazebo simulator, and then doing the autonomous navigation in the simulation first, and then on the actual hardware. That is really important. So in the ROS, if you know simulation, that is going to help at some extent. But if you want to get a job or an internship, let's say, you have to work on the actual hardware. Because companies say that they need a simulation, a ROS developer, let's say they don't expect hardware, but in the interview they will ask that did you work on hardware as well for ROS? So at that time if you say no, you are not selected. Of course. So
कंपनी का भी ऐसा है ना कि एक बंदा जो तीनों डोमेन में काम कर सकता है वो मिल रहा है तो भाई दे है different.
So today's session was all about under the tagline being a student. Probably हम ऐसा ट्राई करेंगे कि लाइक जो being a student सीरीज है वो आगे चलती रहे, कि लाइक हमें खुद सीखने का मौका मिले. There is no such thing कि like I'm not a student, I'm doing a job, or else they are doing a job, you are a student. That is next thing, or else say that is a different thing. But we want to build a platform where all we come together and we are getting to learn from each other. So that is grow, learn and explore together. Right. So growing together, learning from each other. So that is really important, and hope to conduct such sessions in the future as well, mostly for free. So other people will also join. They will be able to talk and get a chance to explore and build connections as well.
Main thing is build connections.
Connections, exactly. Right.
And
I'm
thank you for
looking to
hosting
know about
this.
you guys.
Ah,
Yeah, that's
Right. So also I invite some founders as well.
okay.
So exactly on these meetups only I will say.
Mm.
So you are able to interact with the students and maybe you will get your next employee or next intern. Don't give any charge to me, but that's just kind of meetup. That was a fun part, but yeah, thank you everyone for joining.
And thank you for hosting this.
Yeah, hosting
It's
this.
my pleasure.
Yes.
We really got some kind of insights about the trends that are going on into the robotics community,
Yes.
how to approach them and how to get into it.
And also, if someone watching till end, they also want to know about how to plan their robotics career
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
and how they end up in a great company.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yes.
That's for sure.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Tata.